This is genuinely insane as Celtics trade talks are intensifying as we get into closer and closer to the trade deadline. But a move like this one, I believe, is absolutely asinine. And the Celtics should not pursue a move like this if they want to continue developing their young products and their young pieces that they've been able to do in such a great right through Mazzulla's offense. And I believe the Boston Celtics would laugh at a proposal like this one that we're going to be looking at in today's episode on Celtics Digest. I am Bruce Velez, and you guys have been absolutely fantastic, showing your love and support. We recently just hit our goal of 6,000 subscribers, which is absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, showing your love, and showing your support on the channel. It goes absolutely unnoticed as we are absolutely ecstatic to see you guys just showing your other love and support, and it's been really appreciative. People in the Discord have been really reaching out as well, and I want to say shout out to everyone as well. You guys have been absolutely fantastic, and we're going to keep continuing and keep pushing for more goals on here on Celtics Digest, so make sure to stay tuned. But without further ado, let's dive in. Let's get into all the news. Make sure to grab a snack, and in my honest opinion, I believe there is no way the Boston Celtics would even entertain a possible trade in doing this quote-unquote proposal. We're going to be looking at a proposal on Sports Illustrated, as we see from Ryan Stan here. The Celtics trade a proposal which reunites with a Boston fan favorite. We obviously have known the Celtics have been interested in possibly doing some deals looking around the edges, but with new improvements, with obviously Jaden Springer really cracking this rotation after looking really good versus the Los Angeles Clippers. Some other names have been thrown around for the Celtics to use and a possible move, and this one just does not make sense in my eyes. The Boston Celtics would be going out and acquiring Javonte Green, someone who we've mentioned on the channel before. We recently just did a video with him looking at a possible Jaden Springer trade before he exploded in that Clippers game, and I got to give credit to my guy King Nick NBA over on YouTube and Twitter, as he has been, the kind of pusher of this narrative for a Javonte Green coming back to Boston. And even though Javonte Green would be a nice addition, a low market add for this Celtics team as a pretty solid 3-and-D wing, can shoot the ball pretty solid, can play some solid defense, can ultimately play multiple positions for the Celtics team as well, at the 2, at the 3, sometimes even as a small ball 4, which would give the Celtics ultimate utility with this type of wing. And like we mentioned, he has some familiarity being in Boston. But with using a player like Springer, someone that hadn't really been blossoming with the team, that made sense with the Celtics. But with using a player like this in this trade proposal, I believe that it is just absolutely ridiculous. And that's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is saying that the Celtics would be sending Baylor Shireman away in this deal. And like I mentioned, we have looked at previous, videos talking about Javonte Green going for Jaden Springer. But in a guy in Baylor Shireman, I believe is just absolutely ridiculous in my eyes. We want to kind of dive in and get more into this. Like I mentioned, Baylor Shireman is obviously the Boston Celtics rookie, and even though he hasn't really stood out, hasn't been a really key piece for the Celtics development so far this year, in Maine, he has been very spectacular. And over this recent stretch, he's been putting up games where he's been dropping 20, 25 points, being a prime facilitator for this Celtics unit as well for the Maine Celtics, and being one of their better players, similar to last year with Jordan Walsh. And we saw this year a lot of fans expecting Jordan Walsh to kind of crack that rotation, and he's gotten some glimpses and spurts, but hasn't been able to really solidify his role. And maybe one more year within this Celtics unit will be able to get him to that nature to be that guy. But I see Baylor Shireman kind of going in the same trajectory, kind of a similar path comparative to Jordan Walsh. We saw Jordan Walsh get the similar treatment that Baylor Shireman is getting this year, last season, playing majority of the season with the G League, kind of coming up and down here and there, getting some love in some blowout games or in some games where the Celtics team is battered with injuries, but for majority of the contest is going to be just sitting on the bench or playing with that main team to get his action, to get his run, to kind of stay ready in rhythm. And that's something that I really like to see with Baylor Shireman, and I would not give up on a prospect like this. Like I said, Baylor Shireman went to Creighton and played basketball, and I went to Seton Hall. So I got to see Baylor Shireman play in only one season at Creighton, but in the year that I did get to see him play my senior year, he was absolutely electric as not only just a playmaker, but as a shot creator, a shot maker off the catch and shoot, a rebounder, and brings all those traits for the Boston Celtics. And even though Javonte Green does bring that for the Celtics team immediately, I don't think it's worth necessarily giving up all that future potential in a guy in Baylor Shireman. In my honest opinion, I think he has some shades of Peyton Pritchard and Sam Hauser, and could honestly be a little bit of a combination of both. He brings the size and frame as Sam Hauser as a little bit of a wing, but has those playmaking abilities of Peyton Pritchard in a point guard, but has the catch and shoot scoring ability as a guy in kind of Svi Mykhailiuk, who was a little bit of a tweener in those guys as well. I do believe he's a little bit better of a version of Svi Mykhailiuk for this team, as we've already seen, even at just being a little bit younger, but has those traits of being, a little bit more of an aggressive rebounder, not being just predominantly a catch and shoot guy, but a guy who can hopefully create his own shot, but ultimately be a pretty solid playmaker, facilitator, and do all that as well. And like I said, I would not give up on a player in Baylor Scheierman. We have not seen his true potential within this Celtics team. And even though he is a guy that just plays for the G League, and you could just be saying, oh, it's just a rookie, let's just throw him in there. Let's go and get a guy that can help us out right now. I don't think necessarily that Javonte Green moves the needle enough to go and get a player like Baylor Scheierman. Even looking at how Jaden Springer has been performing as well for the Boston Celtics. We saw him really step up in that Clippers game where the Celtics needed him defensively. I don't necessarily know if I'd even throw a player like Jaden Springer in there, as Springer has showed the Celtics fans, including myself, some really high potential that he could ultimately live up to. But I want to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. So let me know what you guys ultimately think on all of this news. If you guys would do this trade, if you wouldn't. Personally, I think it's ridiculous. I don't think the Celtics would even entertain trading a player in Baylor Scheierman for a player in Javonte Green. Maybe someone else on this roster, like I said, maybe possibly a guy in Jaden Springer, but I would not give up on our rookie in Baylor Scheierman. I still think he has some great traits that he can really utilize with this Celtics team in the future, even with this team rising in the second apron as well, having to deal with some penalties and stuff. Guys like Baylor Scheierman, Jordan Walsh are going to be the diamonds in the rough that the Celtics realistically hit on and really make or break, keeping this core rotation of role players overflowing. And I think a guy like Baylor Scheierman could really live up to that for the Boston Celtics. Before we sign out as well, I do want to, hit the wrong button, want to go over this as well, as we see Jayson Tatum get his 6th All-Star appearance. I know that this was announced yesterday, but I did want to give Jayson Tatum some love. He was the only Boston Celtic announced in that Eastern starting 5, as we saw Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Karl Anthony Towns, and Jayson Tatum get those 5 starting spots. I do expect a player in Jaylen Brown to make it as a reserve. Derrick White has gone a little cold over this recent stretch offensively, and with the fan vote as well has fallen off a little bit, that I do not expect him to be an all-star, but in my heart, Derrick White will always be an all-star in my eyes. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section, how you guys ultimately feel about this trade, how you guys feel about Jayson Tatum making it as a 6th-time all-star here as a starter. I think that's absolutely fantastic for him as well. And like I said, you guys have been absolutely fantastic, showing your love and support on the channel. So if you do want to keep showing your utmost support for Celtics Digest, keep continuing to hit that like and subscribe button, as 72% of you guys who watch these videos are not subscribed. We want to get that number up. But like I said, you guys have been absolutely fantastic, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and go Boston Celtics. Peace out, everyone.